let's take the next story. You know, in 5 calendar days, you know, our country clocks 65 years of a troublous democratic practice. Regime after regime had grappled with the unity and tolerance, with more questions than answers on the cards. Ahead of our celebration of independence on October 1st, President Bola Tinubu has sued for tolerance and unity, 2 elements missing in our country's quest to move forward. The #1 citizen made the plea at a special Jumat prayer at the National Mosque in the FCT. After 26 years of democracy with many challenging issues still begging for answers, that we are standing as a unit in spite of our pluralism means we can achieve our ultimate dream if we tolerate and unite.
Sure.
I share the sentiment.
I do. And you see, each time people agitate and say, oh, Nigeria will break up, we must do this, I tell people that most people who have all that idea are people, with due respect to them, who are not well exposed and who are not traveled. You know, as I sit here today, I'm from Osun State.
Okay.
But I was born in Benue State. And I was 50 in April. Since I was born, the only time I had the opportunity of working in Lagos was between November 2017 and August 2019. And subsequently, I had the opportunity of going to my home state to serve between 2019 and 2022. So if you take that 5 years from my number of years, it means that for 45 years, I have stayed somewhere else outside the Southwest. Now, while I was in Borno State as a correspondent, we traveled to a local government called Malamfatori. Malamfatori is the farthest local government in Borno. I think it's about 9, as at then, I don't know what it is today because of the poor road network, it's about 9 hours drive from the state capital. And each time we try to go to that locality, most often we miss our way to Cameroon before we find our way back to Malamfatori. The point I'm trying to make is that as at 2003, I met an old Igbo man there. As at that time, the man was, I think, about 65 years old. And he told me he was born in that place. Meaning that he has also given birth to children who grew up in that place. They speak the native language fluently.
Even if they are Igbo.
Even if they are Igbo. Meaning that they have never known any other place outside that. Now, if you say you are dividing the country, where do you want that family to run to? Where do they know? When I was in Kaduna during the Sharia crisis, there were hundreds of Yorubas, especially from Ofa, Kwara State, who ran home, but who had no place. They could not even locate their home because these are people who have lived all their lives in Kaduna. And so we must learn how to tolerate each other. Yes, we must understand our differences, but we must understand the fact that we need each other to survive as a united country. I think that is the message the Mr. President is preaching, and we must join him to preach.
You know, the story is always told about what the late Zik told the late Sardauna. Yeah. Let us forget our differences. And the Sardauna says, no. Let us understand our differences.
And appreciate our differences.
Yeah, close to 65 years of, some would say, cynics would say, flag and anthem independence, and nothing more. But we have, in spite of our troublous nature, still coexist. It means if we can tolerate more and unite more, nobody would remember where X comes from, where Y comes from.
Yeah, absolutely. Peace leads to, and tolerance leads to social cohesion and stability and economic development. And for 65 years, we have been together, even though we had a civil war that lasted for 30 months.
Avoidably.
Yeah, avoidably. But I think the award should go to the ordinary Nigerian that has been so tolerant, irrespective of all the tribulations that we have passed through, irrespective of all the threats from our leaders, the misgovernance, the corruption, the daylight robbery by those that govern us. So we have been so tolerant, you know, in the face of brigandage. So I think kudos to Nigerians that in spite of the poverty, the excruciating deprivations, you know, bad rules, you know, we're still tolerant. So the award should go to Nigerians, not really to our leaders. What the president is saying, I share his view about peace, tolerance. They are very important for before this country can move forward. Yeah. What is also should be added is justice. Because it's very easy to talk about peace, but where you talk about peace, there is no justice. That peace will not be sustained.
Probably talking about the peace of the graveyard.
Of the graveyard. So we need to talk about justice for those that rule us, justice for them, justice for those that they rule, and also justice for the society, our sacred norms, our heritage, you know, to be defended and protected by our leaders. And that means that we need to fight corruption decisively. We need to run a government without favoritism. We need to give equal access to Nigerians. Not to say that, oh, this man is Zuru, he cannot get this job. This man is from Ihiala, we cannot give him this job. This man is from you know, in Calabar we have 3 ethnic groups, Efut, Efik, and Kwas. We say, oh, these people, they are Efik, forgetting that there are other, you know, ethnic groups. So when anybody comes from that area, oh, it's an Efik man, give him. You don't care about the other ethnic nationality. So there must be justice. That is the greatest word.
Yeah, even though we have made our mistakes.
Yes. Yes.
Avoidable mistakes.
Avoidable mistakes. Yeah. So I think the ordinary man has a whole lot of role to play in tolerance and peace. Those that govern us, in fact, they have the greatest role. They must create the condition for us to be able to tolerate them and also tolerate this, the situation that we find ourselves.
Sometimes you wonder where you're coming when the debate crops up. Who has messed with the country more, the soldiers or the politicians?
Well,
but before you answer, remember that states were only created by the military. No civilian, no democratic government can create a local government easily.
Yeah, it's
not that it is impossible.
It is because those who created it decided to put stringent conditions. Don't forget, they were the ones who drafted the constitution that we are using. They handed it over to us. And since they handed it over to us, even though we have been doing some amendments in piecemeal, we have not really been able to sit down and aggregate the views on how we want some of these things, you know, to be. And so they have decided deliberately to put very stringent conditions. I was discussing with someone today who were trying to analyze the new Olubadan's request for creation of Ibadan State. And I was telling him, even though he was simplistic about it, that if anybody wants to create, they can create. I think with my knowledge of the Constitution, with the stringent condition, because if, for instance, you want to create a state from Lagos, the people in Lagos must first of all agree, you know, that they want. So who will agree? And once he fails at that stage, that is the end. So those sending requests to the National Assembly, they are even jumping the gun. Because they must first of all conduct a referendum. There must be an agreement. It is the result of that.
The people must agree.
Must agree. It's the result of, if for instance, in Lagos State,
if the referendum
if two of the senators disagree,
or majority will carry the vote.
That is it.
Yeah, so, Wally, there's another angle
to answer your question directly, from the knowledge we have gathered in the classroom over the years and from the things we have seen, I believe very strongly that the military bastardized, the country than the civilian rule. And that is why we have this popular axiom that the worst civilian rule is better than the best military rule.
Yeah, but the military didn't rule alone. Wale, do you see where I'm coming from?
The military is at the top, is the commander.
Okay.
Just like the civilian head of the
family.
So we are just like the children. Then the father and the mother should be held responsible for what happens in a particular family, because the military, ruled not by constitution, but by decrees. By fiat. So the ruling for 27 years actually set this country backward. Look at India. Never a military coup since 1948 or whatever.
48,
so,
yeah.
You can't compare that with Nigeria. So the military, in fact, we must never pray for any military rule in this. In fact, any part of Africa is disaster.
Okay, but as we speak here, 3 countries are still being ruled by the military.
Yeah.
Okay. Here
but that does not make it
right.
Good,
best alternative.
Best alternative.
Let us stretch the logic. An idea came from the presidency the other day, some days ago. Mr. President was tinkering with the idea of a new constitution. You have heard?
Yeah.
Even though the presidential spokesman is saying, don't.
You see, the idea of a new constitution came up under President Goodluck Jonathan, and I want to say with all sense of modesty, because I was part of that team. I was the media consultant to the Committee on Constitutional Review. We actually set out how a new constitution can come into being. Unfortunately, the Attorney General of the Federation at the time, the information at our disposal was that President Jonathan had signed off on that constitution, but for whatever reason, they came back to the National Assembly to say that Mr. President was withdrawing his assent. And the National Assembly requested for the document because they had intelligence that document had been signed. They never returned the document. And so if we are really interested...
Nigeria happened to the document.
So I would just suggest very strongly that they should go and dust that report. Clearly, it was in that exercise we separated the office of the Attorney General of the Federation from that of Minister of Justice.
Yeah, okay.
There were a lot of novel ideas in that constitution, but unfortunately they didn't allow it
this is not a debate you can win easily. After 10 constitutional conferences, we have had 10 constitutional conferences reports, including the 2014 one. But would you say our trouble in this country is constitutional or attitudinal? I don't know. You see what I mean?
We've had this debate. Some people will tell you even Britain has no constitution. And it's not correct. There is the Magna Carta in Britain.
Magna Carta, yeah.
There's no country without the. It may not be coded in one document. That's why they say it's not written. Even Israel, they say it's not. No, but every country. Imagine you having you have a family of 5 children and the father and the mother. Then there are no rules in the house. Anybody can wake up anytime. Anybody can eat anywhere. Anybody can urinate anywhere. There must be rules.
Yeah. And
those rules must be, there must be the custodian of those rules who must himself show good examples and then impose sanctions, if anybody errs. That's the purpose of constitution. Is to set up the ground norm so that if the do's and don'ts, so even before the advent of constitution, societies have laws. They have their own morals.
Just a minute. Yeah. Ismail, I provoked this issue because the 1999 Constitution, as amended, does not empower your governor or my governor or his governor to send anybody on pilgrimages. But we still do.
Yeah.
So is that constitutional or attitudinal?
No, you see, the thing is, with the way Nigerians are wired, I think we need certain things to be boldly written down.
No, but this is written.
No, if it's written, they will come under, I think, is it chapter 2 that talks about the welfare, the security of the security and welfare of the governors who are sponsoring Nigerians, they will tell you that it's part of welfare.
Meanwhile, in Islam, you are more Islamic than I am. One of the 5 pillars, you may go on a pilgrimage if there is the proviso.
There is the proviso, and that is why I try as much as possible to discourage people each time they want to lobby to say, because the Quran is very clear that God does not impose a burden that is beyond your capacity on you. So what it means is that if it has been destined for you to go, a way will be provided for you to make it happen. Not that you go through all manner of rigors before it can happen.
So the debate is in time.
A new constitution is desirable. Like I said, to be cheaper for us, go back and dust the past documents,
and
then what is lacking, political will.
Yeah.
I believe the current president, given his own history, his subjective history, should not be like President Jonathan or Obasanjo. He should have the political will to do what is right. A lot of people will be against it. State police, we don't want another. Do what is right. So that
like the issue of state police that we've been dilly-dallying over. Whatever success that may have been recorded in Borno today against Boko Haram was made possible because of the support of the civilian GTF. Meaning that if we have state police, our territories, our state will be more secure than they are today.
And again, talking about my country of today, we have a president who is ready to take risks.
He has taken, you see, when he announced the removal of subsidy on the day was
I'm going there, you know.
I told a lot of people that this man is courageous.
This is something past presidents had been kicking down the road like a small boy kicking
the can. It's a part of the struggle as far back as 1991. I remember I started interviewing since 1992 as a political correspondent in Guardian. So he has, he's been part of the anti-military campaign, the struggle for the restructuring. So it's the first time since for a very long time that we're having somebody who has been part of that process, that struggle. So it's a good opportunity for us.
And finally, before we drop this subject matter, there are 3 ships, Ishmael and Wale, were 3 ships we have not dealt with in 65 years. Citizenship, settlership, indigenship.
Those are very, very contentious issues. And I believe that the new constitution will help us address it if we are serious about it. It's just that you see, most of the time we shy away from some of these things. I tell people, why must we wait until a cycle of every election before we talk about amending the Electoral Act? So in doing that, we rush certain things. At the end of the day, they become a clog in our wheel of progress.
Okay, the debate will continue. But for now, let's take another break, commercial break. We should be back. This is Journalists Hangout on a Sunday. Please stay with us.